Welcome to Stimulus Wealth Today. In recent weeks, countless discussions have surfaced across television, newspapers, and especially social media about a supposed $1,390 stimulus check that people claim is set to arrive on August 29, 2025. The story has been repeated so many times that many households have started to believe it is true, even though the IRS and lawmakers have not announced any such payment. The narrative has created hope for some, confusion for many, and frustration for those who feel misled by misleading information. It is important to understand exactly where the rumor comes from, what the facts are, and what is actually happening with government programs. The United States has issued stimulus checks in the past during moments of severe crisis. When the pandemic struck in 2020, Congress passed emergency legislation that sent out direct cash payments to most Americans. That process was repeated in 2021, with different amounts provided depending on income level and family status. These checks were lifelines for millions of families, helping them afford rent, groceries, and medical costs at a time when jobs were disappearing and the economy was shutting down. Because those checks left a strong impression, whenever a rumor of new payments appears, people are eager to believe it might be true. The reality is that issuing new stimulus checks requires Congress to pass a bill and the president to sign it into law. The IRS cannot simply decide on its own to send out money to every household. The $1,290 figure being widely discussed does not come from new legislation. Instead, it seems to have been born out of confusion about the recovery rebate credit. This was a tax credit tied to the third round of pandemic stimulus checks, which gave most Americans $1,400 in 2021. Some households never received that money at the time, either because their income records were incomplete, their bank details changed, or their eligibility was unclear. To fix that, the IRS allowed people to claim the missing payment when filing taxes, calling it the recovery rebate credit. In 2025, the IRS confirmed that about $2.4 billion was distributed to people who had filed for these credits. The deadline to claim that money was April 15, 2025. Once that date passed, there was no more opportunity to request it. Unfortunately, headlines about the IRS paying out credits were sometimes misinterpreted, fueling rumors that brand new checks of around $1,390 would soon be sent out. Lawmakers in Washington have also discussed various proposals to support working families, which has further added to the confusion. Senator Josh Hawley, for example, introduced the American Worker Rebate Act. This plan would use tariff revenue to provide rebates of at least $600 for individuals, with larger amounts for households that include children. While the idea has attracted attention, it is not law. For any payment program like this to happen, both chambers of Congress would need to approve the bill, and the president would have to sign it. As of late August 2025, that has not happened. The bill remains a proposal, not an active program, meaning no payments are scheduled. The presence of such proposals, however, makes it easy for misinformation to spread because people confuse political discussions with confirmed government action. The IRS has taken steps to directly address the rumor. Officials have clearly stated that no new round of stimulus checks is planned for August 29, 2025, or any other upcoming date. Statements from fact-checking organizations, financial news outlets, and government websites all repeat the same message. The information about a $1,290 check arriving soon is false. Despite this, many people continue to search online for updates and ask their bank, CS, or tax preparers when they will receive money. This shows the powerful role that misinformation plays, especially when it touches on financial relief during times of rising costs. It is not surprising that people are eager for financial support. Families across the United States continue to struggle with high housing costs, medical bills, and everyday expenses like groceries and utilities. Inflation, while slowing compared to the sharp increases seen in earlier years, still leaves many households feeling squeezed. For some people, the thought of receiving more than $1,000 in direct aid can mean the difference between paying off overdue bills or falling further into debt. This eagerness makes the rumor appealing and explains why it has spread so quickly across Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Some content creators, intentionally or not, have posted videos or articles suggesting that the money is real, further blurring the line between fact and fiction. Looking back at the actual process of how stimulus checks were issued in the past can help explain why the current rumor is inaccurate. When Congress approved the first round of stimulus in 2020, news reports covered the debates, the votes, and the signing of the legislation into law. The Treasury Department then provided clear timelines for distribution. Every step was public, transparent, and heavily discussed in the media. If another payment were truly being planned for August 29, 2025, the same process would have been visible, with weeks or even months of coverage. Instead, no such legislative process has taken place. This absence of official activity is the strongest proof that no payment is on the way. The spread of financial misinformation highlights another important issue: how people get their news. In the digital age, it is common for headlines to circulate without context, and for short videos or posts to oversimplify complicated topics. A headline mentioning 1,390 checks can quickly be shared thousands of times, even if the underlying details are different. For example, an article about the IRS processing recovery rebate credits could be reposted with a misleading title, and within days, the story transforms into a new stimulus rumor. Consumers of news need to be cautious, checking official sources like IRS.gov or trusted fact-checking organizations before accepting claims about payments. While it is disappointing to confirm that no new stimulus checks are being issued, there are still legitimate programs that provide financial assistance. Tax credits for families with children, programs supporting low-income households with energy costs, and food assistance benefits all exist and continue to help millions of people. These programs may not provide the same one-time boost that stimulus checks offered during the pandemic, but they are steady sources of relief. Households looking for help should focus on these verified resources rather than waiting for a check that will not arrive. Disclaimer: the information presented here is for general awareness and educational purposes only. Reports circulating about a 1,390 stimulus check being issued on August 29, 2025, are false. The IRS and lawmakers have confirmed that no such payments are planned, and no legislation has been passed to authorize them. This script is intended to clarify misinformation and provide accurate context based on publicly available statements and credible sources. It should not be taken as financial, tax, or legal advice. For official updates on payments, credits, or government assistance programs, please rely on verified resources such as IRS.gov or trusted government announcements.